The ticket sales for WWE WrestleMania 38 doesn't seem to be going according to plan, and Dave Meltzer has explained what could be the possible reason. WrestleMania 38 will be WWE's return to the AT&T Stadium after 6 years. It was 2016 when WWE hosted the biggest WrestleMania of all time, at least from an attendance standpoint. WWE managed to sell over 100,000 tickets for WrestleMania 32, although some sources disputed this and claimed that the 100,000 plus figure meant those in attendance all across the venue. The company will try to replicate the figure from 2016, but for 2 nights. While this is great news for fans and superstars, WWE may not be celebrating just yet following news of ticket sales for WrestleMania 38. As per a report from Dave Meltzer on the Wrestling Observer Radio, the ticket sales for WrestleMania 38 hasn't lived up to expectations just yet. Mania tickets, I don't have a number, but you could tell from the push really hard and everything like that they are far from a sellout. I didn't expect it would be this quick. The first time they went to AT&T Stadium, it actually didn't sell out until a week out, and that was for one show. I know that the number was lower than they expected. Meltzer added that the pricing that WWE put out may have been a mistake, as it is high enough to scare people away. It's funny because when I talked with them a couple of weeks ago they said, because we're gonna do 2 shows, we're gonna make it price-wise easier. And they did not do that, and that may have been a mistake. I mean, the price is really high enough to scare people away. There is a certain thing that you can charge more money for WrestleMania than any other show, but there is a limit on everything as far as how much you can charge. It should be noted that ticket sales for WrestleMania 32 didn't sell quickly either until it was a couple of months closer to the event. Meltzer stated that the high prices put out initially by WWE may be to attract fans who are willing to pay up, while the majority will wait for the WrestleMania 38 ticket costs to reduce. It would be a revisionist history to say that WWE sold 85,000 plus tickets in an instant for WrestleMania 32 in 2016, while tickets went into sale in late 2015. WWE found themselves in trouble. Many top stars, including Seth Rollins, John Cena, and Randy Orton, were all out of WrestleMania due to major injuries. Ticket sales were slow, but the surprising name to make a big difference was Shane McMahon. In February 2016, Shane O'Mac returned to WWE TV after nearly 7 years, and within his return segment, a high-stakes match against The Undertaker was booked for WrestleMania 32. To add to that, Vince McMahon gave the Hell in a Cell stipulation. This reportedly saw a massive boost in ticket sales, and this was hardly 2 months before the grandest stage of them all. WWE could take a similar approach, but the reported Roman Reigns vs. Brock Lesnar main event won't be enough to sell 100,000 tickets for 2 days at WrestleMania 38. Ric Flair delivered a solid message to Becky Lynch after the man's scathing promo at Charlotte Flair on Raw. Lynch is all set to go one-on-one against her longtime rival Charlotte at Survivor Series on November 21st. Ahead of their match, the Raw Women's Champion Kutta had some choice words for Charlotte. It seems her promo has drawn the attention of Charlotte's father and WWE Hall of Famer, Ric Flair. The 16-time world champion took to Twitter to deliver a strong response to Lynch, saying she will not get the job done at Survivor Series. I think I'm going to have to make the trip personally to see you beat the piss out of it, Miss Charlotte WWE. I don't think so, sister, the man, big time Bex, or whatever you call yourself. There's not enough choreography in the business to save you at Becky Lynch WWE, wrote Ric Flair. Even though Ric Flair was released from his WWE contract a few months ago, from his tweet it seems he is eager to make an appearance at the upcoming pay-per-view to aid Charlotte in her match against Lynch. As mentioned earlier, Ric Flair was released from WWE in August 2021. The 2-time WWE Hall of Famer asked for his release as he was frustrated with some of the booking decisions made by the company and talked to WWE Chairman Vince McMahon about it. Following his release, Ric has appeared on NWA and even at AAA to support Charlotte's fiancé, Andrade El Idolo, in his match against Kenny Omega. While it seems unlikely for Flair to appear at Survivor Series, one can never say never when it comes to WWE and their sudden surprises. WWE has been building up Lynch's champion vs. champion match against Charlotte on the road to Survivor Series, and the company might do everything possible in their part to make the feud a success. There were reports suggesting that the company was looking to use some of the real-life tension between both women to add more intensity to the rivalry. Ric Flair getting involved in the match to assist Charlotte could do just that. WWE Universal Champion Roman Reigns will be appearing on this week's Tonight Show starring Jimmy Fallon, ahead of his big match against WWE Champion Big E at Survivor Series. Starring Jimmy Fallon, The Tonight Show is an American late-night talk show on NBC. Prominent Hollywood stars like Will Smith, Daniel Radcliffe and Emma Stone regularly appear on the show. WWE recently announced that Reigns will appear on The Tonight Show this Wednesday night, likely to promote Survivor Series. The show offers WWE a major platform to showcase their pay-per-view and attract new fans. Don't miss #Universal Champion at WWE Roman Reigns on at Fallon Tonight with Jimmy Fallon. This Wednesday at 11:35 p.m. E 10:35 p.m. C on NBC, WWE on Twitter wrote. This week's edition of Monday Night Raw saw the Usos invading the Red brand to send a message to Big E on Universal Champion's behalf. However, the plan backfired as the New Day member laid out Jay with a big ending. Big E also had a message for Roman Reigns as he grabbed Jay by his beard and told him to deliver it to the head of the table. "Tell Roman I'm ready" were WWE Champion's words as he decimated the SmackDown Tag Team Champion. The war between Roman Reigns and Big E is personal now, with both attacking each other's families. The two powerhouses will collide in 6 days at WWE Survivor Series in a traditional champion versus champion match. Things have always been tense between the two factions in the last few weeks. It is safe to assume that more than just brand supremacy is at stake here. Now it's about honor. Will Roman Reigns' dominance continue at Survivor Series? Share your thoughts in the comment box below. WWE Universal Champion Roman Reigns shouldn't be facing The Rock anytime soon. As far as Booker T is concerned, the WWE legend feels that a match between the two should happen, but doesn't see the point of it happening now. There has been plenty of speculation about Reigns facing The Rock in a dream match, however, there hasn't been any indication that it is likely to happen. The two-time WWE Hall of Famer, on his Hall of Fame podcast, was asked by a fan if he would like to see a match between Reigns and The Rock and if it would happen at WrestleMania 39 in 2023. Booker T argued that fans are going to watch the match regardless of when it happens and compared it to the legendary fight between boxers Floyd Mayweather Jr. and Manny Pacquiao. "As far as that match happening, it can happen. I just think it's way too soon for something like that to happen because, my thing is this, if The Rock comes back and face Roman, what do you do in that match? It's almost like backing yourself in the corner if you do something like that right now. The payoff is so much bigger down the road if you're going to do something like that. If The Rock could just stay in shape, that's the only thing he has to do. That's like Floyd Pacquiao, you're going to pay to see it. I don't care if it's far past his time, you're going to pay to see it," said Booker T. The rumors that have been doing the rounds for around a year or more suggest that the People's Champ could face the Tribal Chief at WrestleMania in 2023. But The Rock rejected those rumors, stating that there's no truth to it. "I can tell you, there is no truth to that right now. Possibly down the road, we will see," said The Rock. He did not rule out a return to WWE and hinted at one final match in pro wrestling, which will most likely be against Reigns. Seth Rollins had quite an interesting reaction to seeing his wife Becky Lynch hanging out with WWE Champion Big E. Rollins recently became the #1 contender for Big E's WWE title on Raw. The two top stars will soon face off for the coveted belt. Rollins is as determined as ever to get the WWE title around his waist. Meanwhile, Big E and Becky Lynch were recently spotted having a good time at the Barclays Center for the Warriors vs Nets game. The visual was shared on Twitter by many fans. Rollins noticed one of those tweets and responded to it with a GIF. Seth Rollins is a 9-year veteran on the WWE roster. He has done it all in the business and is bound to go down as one of the greatest to ever step foot in a pro wrestling ring. Rollins has portrayed the roles of a babyface and a heel to perfection and is currently an on-screen villain on the Red brand. Seth Rollins hinted in his tweet that Becky Lynch hanging out with the WWE Champion is part of some sinister plan that he's brewed. Lynch and Rollins were on-screen allies back in 2019, but Rollins isn't interested in the same anymore. "We tried to make the best at it, but I don't think either of us were terribly comfortable with it. Even though we have incredible chemistry as people, as performers, our characters never really vibed on-screen. It's one of those things where, if she comes back, we'll stay away from it and won't touch on it," said Rollins. Big E is currently having the best run of his WWE career as one of the top champions in the promotion. He will do everything in his power to make sure that Rollins never tastes gold again. What do you make of Seth Rollins' tweet in response to Becky Lynch and Big E being seen together?